Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1202, written by Turtoisedeffect. An entire train platform vanished. Happened to me last month. It was around 2 p.m. as I got off the train on a busy stop as per my usual daily routine. Now during the afternoon hours, there are usually quite a few people patiently waiting by the train platform, normally between 10 to 20 soon-to-be passengers in line. There were also plenty of folks on the train that was on, so walking out from the front end of the train, I look down the long stretch of the train platform before heading out of the station, and I see it's completely empty. Not a single person in sight getting on or off. I hear no audible conversations. The train itself is pretty much dead silent. My footsteps are the only sound echoing across a long, underground platform, and against the prevalent silence, my wooden soles are loud, click-clacking as I'm walking towards the station exit. Glancing back into the train I had just exited, all I see are eyes meeting back at mine, all staring at the lone person leaving the station platform. Just spooky. Case notes of file 1202. An entire train platform vanished. This feels like a bridge between a quantum immortality buffered universe and your normal universe. So the transition points that sometimes occur for people, where the new universe isn't yet ready to receive the new soul, then they're stuck in this limbo, semi-real universe where it's just like it's a baseline of the real physical matter, but no people. The people on the train were real, and from their perspective, they may have seen you slowly fade out. Because in that moment, you probably were dead on the train, the physical body anyways. The soul is what walked off, your soul. Somewhat fitting that a train is involved, right? But I think it's just a poetic coincidence. Bonus file written by siphontheenigma. Haunting tales from the Frontier Living program. During the summers of high school and college, I worked at a large Boy Scout camp in Southwest Virginia. The property is 17,000 acres of dense wilderness with 2 base camps and several backcountry outposts. Over the years, there have been plenty of strange occurrences. I'll do my best to recount a few of them. One year after the summer session had ended, a few of us stayed in camp to hang out and help with some final winterizing before heading back to school. One of our tasks was to clean up the empty staff cabins and shower house. To give you an idea of the layout of the staff camp, it was basically a parking lot with 2 large cabins for the senior staff on the west side, a shower house with pseudo-outdoor stalls like you'd find at a state park on the south side, and several smaller cabins for the junior staff on the east side. Since all of us remaining were in the senior cabin, we went through and swept out all the junior cabins and made sure the porch lights were off and did the same with the shower stalls. That night, while chilling on our porch, we looked across the parking lot and 3 porch lights were on in the junior staff cabins. No one else had been in camp but the 4 of us, and none of us had any reason to go back and turn on the lights. The next night, we noticed a light on in the shower house, which had been fully cleaned and each stall padlocked. We were using the nice bathrooms and showers in the admin building at this point. Upon investigation, we discovered that the stall with the light on was still locked from the outside. When we unlocked it to turn off the light, there was evidence the bathroom had been used. Another summer again, after all the campers were gone, a similar small group of us were down by the lake in canoes, fishing and screwing around. It was about dusk, and I noticed a light on the side of the hill behind the lake. It was like a normal incandescent bulb, but it was shining through the trees in an area far from any camp buildings. I pointed it out to the others, and we kind of stared at it for a few minutes until another one appeared. It didn't appear abruptly, but seemed to slowly brighten out of nothing like a dimmer switch. After a few more minutes, another one appeared in the same way. At this point, 2 of the guys paddled to shore and jumped in the truck to go check it out, though where the lights were coming from was pretty dense woods on a steep hill with no access by road or trail. As soon as we heard the truck get up to the top of the hill, the lights faded out. They walked down through where we had seen them, but didn't find anything that could have been a light source. One of the wilderness camps about a 2-mile hike from base camp is used once a week for the first-year campers for their overnighters. This camp is at the edge of the property, with a road running by it and a creek on the opposite side. One of my friends who was director of the first-year program for several years has on multiple occasions heard the sounds of scouts playing in the creeks across the road, only to find no one when he goes to yell at them to go back to campsite. Another of our outposts is a frontier living program where the campers live like 1840s-era pioneers. The staff even wear period attire. On occasion, they have seen a man walking through the camp early in the morning dressed like a Union soldier from the Civil War. Even some adult leaders have reported seeing him, with no prior knowledge of his sightings. At the same frontier living outpost, the camp director's cabin is about 40 yards from one of the campsites. Teenage boys tend to be loud and keep late hours, so the camp director is sometimes kept awake by their rowdiness. Once they were getting pretty out of hand, and it was almost 1 in the morning. Out of exasperation, the camp director just yelled, "Shut up!" into the darkness without even getting out of bed. The noise died away instantly. Puzzled, he wondered how they had heard him over their own noise when he was that far away inside the cabin with all the doors and windows closed. Then he realized that it was Saturday night between sessions and that there was no one in that campsite. Case notes for the bonus file: Haunting Tales from the Frontier Living Program. So 17,000-acre property, holy crap. Imagine having that all to yourself. That'd be too large even for me, a man that loves exploration. But a lot of these accounts reinforce my belief that many spirits are echoes. They're echoes of their former human-occupied vessels. They relive the moments that most affected them. It's almost like in Supernatural, where heaven is like reliving your best moments. In this case, it's reliving moments that are on Earth, not necessarily your best or happiest moments, the ones that have a strong emotional connection. Perhaps in those cabins with the lights on, they had intense scenes like breaking up with their girlfriends, or maybe a murder happened there in the past. That would be extremely traumatic. The bathroom one had been used, and I think we can all imagine the adult acts that occasionally occur in there. So it's not always negative things that happened, or traumatic, just intensely emotional. They aren't random. And now time for the quote of the day. It is wonderful how quickly you get used to things, even the most astonishing. Edith Nesbit. Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, watching The Expanse, which is just, if you haven't seen it, it's a fantastic show, but it's set in a few hundred years in the future for humanity, and we're out there colonizing the asteroid belts, Mars, etc., and the moon as well. I was just thinking, even if that was real today, maybe a few months would go by, you're on the moon, you're in a lunar hotel or out in a space station, and eventually it would just feel normal. We normalize reality, whatever reality is. If it's negative or positive, we become accustomed to it. It's similar to how people who win the lottery, initially they are exuberant, they are ecstatic, beyond description. But then after a few months, they normalize. That's kind of why people say that money can't buy happiness, which I don't entirely think is right. I think it can enable happiness, but you have to have the right mindset. And you have to seek out new novel things, because the mind gets used to the same thing over and over. Not that routine is bad, but if you want real happiness, you need to have an open mind and willing to try new things, in my opinion. I'm not exactly the most open-minded person in terms of new experiences. I do like my routine, and I'm still happy. But I think it's true that you do want to experience new things in life. So don't get yourself stuck in a rut where you're just living the same thing day by day, and then you're accustomed to it. So nothing is different. And maybe you're not sad, but you're not really happy, or as happy as you could be. We all owe it to ourselves to be as happy as we can be. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony, signing off.